Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for some of you. I'm just letting more colleagues coming in. I see we have quite a lot of participants today, so just giving some time for everyone to be able to join. Hello from Jordan. I see on the chat. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening again. Welcome to this webinar. I'm gonna ask the team to make sure that everyone is muted. Excellent. Perfect. All right. I do hear a little echo on my side. I hope it is not too disturbing for everyone. It might be on the interpretation, but nonetheless, I think we can start. Welcome everyone to this webinar entitled "The Hands-on Training on the Online Reporting Tool for the Seventh National Report." My name is Marion Marigot. I'm a UNDP Senior Advisor for the GEF-8 Umbrella Programme to support the NBSAP and the Seventh National Report. And I will be your facilitator today for this session, and I will be joined by colleagues from UNEP and the CBD Secretariat. I'm really delighted to welcome you today for this important session. As you know, the deadline to submit the seventh national report is around the corner in February 2026. And this training really is part of a broader effort from a large coalition of partners to provide support to governments to ensure that this COP milestone of submitting the seventh national report is respected. So just before we dive into the topics of today, I wanted to give you just a bit of an overview on the logistics side of things. So first, and very important, simultaneous interpretation is available in French and Spanish. Many thanks to the interpretation team for being with us today. The speakers will mostly speak in English, so feel free to choose the channel that you prefer, and I would recommend that you stick to it through the webinar. So to activate the interpretation, you can look at the Zoom window, and at the bottom you have an icon of a globe, and you can click on this icon and choose your preferred language. If you wish to change the language of the interpretation during the webinar, you can click again on this icon and then change. But again, it's usually easier to stick to the same channel. And similar, if you have questions during the Q&A, you will be able to speak in your preferred language, and we'll hear back in our selected channel. A reminder for the speakers, including myself, let's make sure that we don't speak too fast. That really helps the interpreters making sure that they capture the subtleties of what we say and then interpret them in the right language. If you do have technical issues, we can help you also to resolve them. And by we, I mean Alexis Legigan, my colleague. So feel free to send him a private Zoom message. Make sure that it's a private message so it does not disrupt the entire conversation in the entire Zoom. And finally, the webinar is being recorded in French, English, and Spanish, and it will be made available on the CBD Secretariat website. We will also share the information with you by email once the webinar concludes. I see that we have even more people joining, and a lot of people are saying hello in the chat. It's really great to see so many participants. Feel free to keep introducing yourselves, and we'll get started. All right, if we go to the next slide, you'll see the agenda, but basically, a little bit of context, right? The seventh national report, as you know, is the primary source of information for the global review of collective progress in implementing the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework to be undertaken at COP17. And that includes also the implementation of national biodiversity targets and UNBSAP. So we have had in this webinar series a lot of webinars over the past months, and they're all available on the CBD website under the page for the national report. And I think my colleague will drop that link now. But this hands-on training is a little different. The idea is that it's a training, and so we will walk participants through the features and the functionality of this tool, of the online reporting tool for the seventh national report. Again, the idea is not that it's just a demo and us speaking, it's really that you do the exercise and the walkthrough at the same time, and that you do the little exercise so that you can get fully familiar with the online reporting tool, and then you can run with the submission of the online reporting tool. So we'll do this exercise, and after this exercise, we'll obviously have some time for question and answer. Again, the question and answer is not limited to this day today. We have colleagues from the CBD Secretariat, we have colleagues from UNEP and UNDP. We're here to support, right? So do not hesitate to reach out anytime. And then we'll conclude this training today with sharing a few key reflection and then takeaway. So again, let's be all active in this webinar. I really encourage all of you to do the steps and to get familiar with the tool if you're not familiar yet. And if you have any question arising at any time, feel free to type them in the chat the same way that everyone is presenting themselves right now, and we'll answer during the Q&A question. So very briefly, what you can see on the screen is now the agenda. So I will shortly turn over to colleagues from the CBD to provide some hello remarks, and then we'll dive right into the training on the online reporting tool. And for that, I'll call on my colleague, Blaise Fonseca from the CBD. We'll then have a question and answer session led by my colleague, Anthony Camo from UNEP, and then we'll do some quick reflection and takeaways at the end of the session. So without further ado, and to officially open the session today, I would like to invite my colleague Gillian Campbell from the Secretariat of the Convention on Biological Diversity to provide some opening remarks. Gillian, I don't know if you have arrived yet. Yes, Gillian.
Can you
Excellent.
see me or hear me? I don't know. Yes.
Good morning, and over to you.
Good morning, and thank you for the introduction, Marian. I'm really glad that we can do this series of webinars. As Marian mentioned, we have done a number of webinars that we've also contributed to over the past few years. We have two webinars in this particular series on the online reporting tool. So there's the one today, and then there's one on January 14th, where we're going to focus more on the functionality for submitting commitments from actors other than national governments. From my perspective, it's great to see so much interest in this. I've been with the convention for about 5 years. And so when I started was before COP15. And at that point in time, we were just starting to have discussions about what the national reporting template was going to look like, what the GBF was going to look like. And now we've reached this point where we're not talking anymore about what the GBF is looking like. We're not even talking anymore about starting to implement. We're already at the point where it's the midterm of the framework, and we're saying what has been accomplished so far. And that's what the national report is really about. It's about an exercise at the national level for stakeholders to get together and say, what have we achieved? And let's look at our successes and try to describe those successes. And it's an opportunity for you to share those successes with the global community, as they'll then contribute to the global review at COP17. And of course, those national reports are the basis for the global report. So we will be doing an analysis of where the entire world stands in achieving the framework. And this is really what all of this is coming to this year. And so it's really exciting that there is so much interest. The deadline, of course, I do encourage everyone to really submit by the 28th of February, because obviously the deadline, if it's not met, we won't be able to include the information in this global report that I mentioned. So I would encourage people to at least submit what you can. Maybe if you can submit the data by the 28th, if you're not able to submit the full report, or submit, do the best report that you can by the 28th of February. I've received a number of questions lately on this, and so I thought I would just mention quickly that if you do submit on the 28th of February and then you want to go back and change your submission before COP, then this is possible, but you would have to let us know, because then we would need to put some sort of a footnote in the global report that says that the data that in the report was based on whatever we received as of the 28th of February. However, these countries have made further updates. So I think I'll just leave it at that, but feel free to reach out to any of us, reach out to the Secretariat. There's a number of my colleagues who are part of this webinar who are available to provide support. The UNDP and the UNEP colleagues, I know they're also available to provide support. So as the global team, we're trying to really all work together to do what we can to make sure that we support you if you need it in submitting your report. Thanks. All right, back to you, Marion.
Awesome. Thank you, Jillian. Thanks for those introductory remark and motivational remark, I will say. So we all meet this deadline of February to some extent. So before we dive into the training, we just wanted to have a quick poll to help you understand, to help us understand your experience with the online reporting tool. So what's going to happen is that we have 4 questions in what we call a Zoom poll. And I'm going to ask my colleague to maybe open this poll. So what's going to happen is that on your Zoom window, you will have a new window that has 4 questions. And these 4 questions are the following, and we ask you to please respond to them. So the first question is, at what stage is your country in the preparation of the national report? The second question is, have you used yet the online reporting tool? The third question is around the challenges that you have had in using this reporting tool. And then you can obviously list out more challenges if you have any other challenges, like you can click on other and then explain with a short answer. So in my role of a facilitator, I can see how many people are responding to how many questions. And I'm gonna encourage you and make sure that we hit a high percentage of participation. So again, back to what I was saying earlier today, we're really hoping this session is dynamic. We do not want to be just us speaking and doing a demo of the tool. We're really here to exchange with you and have your participation, taken into account. And so right now I have less than 30% of participation. So I am going to wait and encourage you to, again, go back to your Zoom screen and look at the questions. Again, there is 4 questions. Each of them is aiming to help us understand where you are at as government, or at least staff in the country, working on the national report, understand where you're at with the preparation of the national report, with the use of the online reporting tool, and within the use of the online reporting tool, really understanding if there is some challenges or not. So we're about to reach 40% of participation. This is great. I'm gonna leave a few more, maybe 1 more minute for participants to respond as I see more responses coming in. Once again, 4 questions. The more you share with us, the better it is for us to adjust basically our support and make sure that we are reactive to your needs in the coming weeks. This deadline, everyone has it in mind. It is not just for the countries, it is very much a reality for the CBD Secretariat and for us at UNDP and at UNEP. More questions, responses are coming in. And I see also some more, let's say, lengthy responses in the
On a
chat.
des réponses longues également dans le chat.
Oh, I think interpretation has
Donc,
changed
je
channel.
pense que l'interprétariat a changé.
Je crois que vous êtes sur
Oui, oui, oui.
le canal en anglais. All right, we are here. We have over 50% responses. It keeps coming, Alexi, so I'm just gonna ask you to wait a few seconds. We have a lot of participation right now. This is great. And I see our colleague Misikure Lema from Ethiopia mentioning that Ethiopia is undertaking data information collection to be used in the reporting in a report. And Tanzania is expected to start by the end of the year. Great. Alexi, maybe we can stop the poll now. We're almost at 60%. That's quite great. And then so Alexi is going to be able to share the results And so what you will see on your screen right now are the results from each of the questions. So just briefly for me looking at them, it looks like most of the participants are either undertaking consultations, so advancing in the process, but an important number of people have not, our country at least, have not yet started. And then some of the countries, I will say, have developed the text but have not yet entered it on the online reporting tool. So for those of you who are at this stage of undertaking consultation and develop the draft text but not yet in the reporting tool, which is almost 60% of you, this is a great moment to have the hands-on training. And for those that have not yet started, do not hesitate to reach out to us, of course, if there is anything that we can help with this. But some comments are coming in saying that this is starting soon. So we're definitely encouraging you to continue this way. On the second question, have you used the online reporting tool? 42% of you have said yes, but 58 have said no. So again, this might be an interesting training so that you can get familiar with the tool. When it comes to question 3 on the challenges, the biggest one is on the data for indicators, the biggest challenge. So that is one I think colleagues at CBD that we have heard before and that we're probably going to be able to address today, at least some question. And then there is an other. So there is 26% of you have responded other. So feel free to explain in the chat what the challenges are and how you would hope that we can support you with them. Again, this is a conversation, this is an open space, and we're here to take the feedback and being able to address those questions as much as possible. So to the organizing team, I think this is really helpful, and thank you participants for responding and giving us this feedback. I think that helps us frame a little bit the session and for us to understand where we're at with the people that are attending the session today. So I'm going to stop sharing those results. Feel free to close this little pop-up window, and we're going to come back to the session. And actually, we're going to dive right into the heart of the session, which is the online reporting tool. So I'm going to turn over to my colleague from the CBD Secretariat, Blaise Fonseca, and he will guide you through the online reporting tool for the 7NI. I think, Blaise, you are around. Yeah, you're ready to take the floor. Excellent. Again, I think the link of the online reporting tool is going to be shared with you in the chat. And we will go through a few simple exercises with Blaise, meaning changing the language of the online reporting tool, nominate additional users. That's a really important one because it's not only the role of the CBD focal points to enter maybe all of the information, it's definitely the role of the CBD focal points to validate and publish, but you can be supported in the process, so that's an important one. We'll go through how to add additional national targets and then how to add reporting information. So these are the 4 steps. Liz, I will turn over to you and then I'll keep monitor the Q&A with Anthony, and then let's see how much we can engage with the participant. Over to you, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Marian, and hello to everyone. I'll start by sharing my screen. Yeah, so like Marian said, and from the poll, we understand like there are a lot of users who haven't used the National Online Reporting Tool yet. So there will be I'll start with how to log in, how to access the online reporting tool, and who can access the and submit the information. So the online reporting tool is divided into 2 different sections. The first section is the public section. So any information that is published by the countries is available for anyone to access, and that information can be accessed through the all NBSAP menu. Under each record type, there will be an all type of menu. This is the information that is published by the country. So here we are on the NBSAP. So this information can be accessed by anybody. You do not have to log into the ORT to access this information. We've also built analyzer based on the data that has been published by the countries, so you can also access that information. without even logging into the system. Then each type of information always has my country information. This my country information is a unique space created for each country and is only accessed by authorized users from that country only. Any information that is created under this menu is only limited to the authorized users until the national focal point decides to review it and publish that information. So who can access, who has access to this My Country section? The national focal point to the CBD is automatically granted access to this section. Any current NFPs and any future NFPs will automatically have access to these sections. Now the NFP can also nominate additional users to help him support and enter the information in the online reporting tool. So these users, additional users, are called national authorized users, and the NFP can do it by himself by using the national users menu on top of the screen. When the NFP clicks on the this menu, the NFP will be redirected to this central clearinghouse mechanism portal, and here the NFP will be able to see all the authorized users from your country. If you see any users that is already there and you want to grant him access to the ORT, you can select edit option. But if it doesn't exist, you can click on add authorized user. It's a simple wizard where you enter the email address of the new user, some profile information, and you select the role of the user, which will be national authorized user. Once that's done, the system will automatically create an user account for the user and grant the user access to the ORT. So once the information has once the user the NFP has created the national authorized user, the user can log into the ORT and verify the two attributes are available on his profile or not. So once the user logs into the ORT on the dashboard, you will see a user information section where you'll see country affiliation. You need to have a country associated with your profile. In my case, it's Haiti, and you need to also have a role. In my case, I'm a national focal point and a publishing authority. In case of additional users, it will be national authorized user. You need to have these three roles in order to access the online reporting tool to submit the information for your country. If you do not have these attributes on your profile, you will not have access to the sections where you can submit information. In that case, please contact your national focal point and make sure he grants you the access, the role that is required in order to get access to the ORT. So now, since many of you have all stated that they have also not used the online reporting tool, I'll quickly dive through the national target section, how to submit national targets. So in order to submit national targets, you need to use the national target menu. And under national target menu, you can select My Country Targets and go to part 1. And here you can select new national target and submit the national target. So this will allow you to create a national target and align it with a GBF target. Once you have submitted this national target, you will be, if you are a national authorized user, you will be able to make a request to your national focal point to publish that information. Once the national focal point publishes that information, then that national target information will be carried forward to your 7th national report. So it's really important that all your national target information is published and verified. So please make sure that when you go to, before you start entering information on your 7th national report, you make sure you go to your country's national target and make sure that all the national targets have published status. If there are any national targets, if they are in draft or log status, you should make sure that that information is published, because that information will not be carried forward in the 7th national report. So if you find there is a discrepancy, or if you think like that information should be published, but it's not getting published, please do contact us, and we'll try to figure out what's wrong with that particular record and try to fix the status of that particular record. And it's also important that you verify that your intended national targets have been published and they are aligned with all the global targets that you intended to publish them. And one of the way you could do easily to verify that all your national targets are aligned with the correct global target is you could go to the all national targets section and then use the analyzer. And when you scroll down at the bottom of the screen, you will see there are a list of all the countries, and then it shows how many national targets have been published by each country, and to which and how many targets are aligned with each of the global target. So this is my test data. I'll move to live data so that we can see the live information. So here at the bottom of the screen, we see the list of all the countries that are published. National targets. Here we see the number of national targets the country has published, and then each goal, how many national targets are aligned with each of the goals, and the number of national targets are aligned with a global target. So in some in case of some country situation, maybe there are no national targets that are aligned with the global target. So that's why it says 0. But in case, if you, in your country's case, if you had intention to submit a national target aligned with the global target, and if the system is showing 0, again, like this, that's a discrepancy that you should rectify before you start entering your national 7th national report. So please do make sure that you come to the screen and verify that your country's national target information is correctly aligned with all your all the global targets. So once you are done with the verification, we can start with the 7th national report. So again, like we have designed the online reporting tool, the menu architecture is always the same. Each menu for each record type is same, like we have national targets, then we have all reports, and then again we have my country. So this is an limited access menu, which only will be available to the authorized users from that country. So before you start with the with the 7th national report, there is an important decision that you should make at the beginning of submission of the report, and that decision is available on section 1. When you go to the submission form, you will have the option to select the language of your national report. Here you can select any of the 6 UN languages that you intend to submit your national report. You can select more than one language, and then the system will make available the number of text boxes based on how many languages you have selected. So if you have selected 2 languages, you'll have option to enter information in both the languages. We have also made an option available for countries to submit their national reports in their national language. So in case if your country language is different from the 6 UN languages, you can answer the question, would you like to submit this information in any other language? You select yes, and then you select the language that you wish to also enter this information. Once you do that, the system will add additional text boxes so that you can enter that information in that language. So in my case, I have English, French, and Albanian. So I have 3 different boxes to enter that information. However, please note that it's still mandatory to provide information in one UN language and optional to provide information in your national language. So for my, I'll just say no for the demo purpose. So here I have 2 different languages. You can always switch but it's really important that you make this decision at the beginning, because if you enter some information in one language and at halfway you decide to switch the language, you will lose some data because that information is entered in that language box. And if you select a new language, a new box will be made available to you. So it's really important that this decision should be done at the beginning of the beginning of your national report. Also, throughout the national report, you will see that we have a special types of boxes for each questions. Since the national report is a narrative-based report, you will be entering a lot of text, and you may want to make your text more visual. In order to do that, we have made available a special box, which we call as Rich Text Editor. Here you will have the option to create paragraphs or create bold italic text or add lists. You can also add tables if you have some table formatting. You can also complement your text with images, or if you want to upload an attachment to complement some text, you can also do that. Another interesting thing that you can do through these boxes is if you are more used to working on Word files, you can do that. You can create your text in the Word files and then copy paste the text in on these boxes. And then the system will try to retain the formatting that's in the Word file as much as possible. So just as a demo, we'll just go to a Word file. This is a Word file that I have. You'll see there's some bold text, and I have a table on the Word file. All I need to do is copy. Then I go to the text box, and then I can just say paste. And then you'll see now that the system has tried to retain the formatting. The text is bold, and then it also copied the table that was in the Word file. So like that, if you're more used to working with Word file, you can always choose to do your text in Word and then just copy paste text on the tool when you're ready. You can also upload images. For example, if you want to complement some text with an image, the easiest way to do is like you can click on this icon. This will open a image selection box, and you can select the image from your computer. Another easy way is to drag and drop a file. So here I have a file that I could just drag. Once you drag the file, the system will upload the image to the CBD server and then make it available for you. You can then, if the image is too big, you can resize the image. We have some default sizing that's available. If you want to resize it by your own need, you can move your cursor at the bottom of the image and then resize it accordingly. You can also align it. So this helps to make your text more visual. You can upload maps, etc. If you have any. If you want to also complement any text with some kind of attachments, you can also do the same thing. You do the same process. You go to open an file explorer and just drag the file to the editor. Once you upload the file, the system will create a link to the uploaded file and then create a link. The name of the link will be the name of the file, but you can modify the name of the file by just pressing backspace on your keyboard and change the name as whatever you require. So these are basic features of these rich text editors, and you'll find these editors all over the online reporting tool on all the 6 sections that we have part of the national report. One of the important things that you should always remember is always please save draft every 5 to 10 minutes. It's a big report, so you might get carried away by like just entering information, but like might forget to click save draft. If the information is not saved on the server, it's possible that there might be some issues like internet might be down, or like there might be a power outage and you might lose information. So it's always recommended to click Save Draft every 5 to 10 minutes so that no information is lost. We also have an option to generate PDFs in case if you want to generate a PDF of this particular section, you have the option to do that. You can also print this section. And if you want to review the section, if you want to see how your information looks like when you publish the information, you click on the review section. Once you click on the review, the system will show you the information that you have entered. At the same time, the system will also highlight any missing mandatory information that you may have missed a part of the template. So here, in my case, I have 3 questions that I missed entering the information. So all we need to do is click on the error. Once you click it, the system will just scroll you through to this section, to the question that is missing. So here in our case, this particular question is missing and it's been highlighted in red. All the mandatory questions will always have a red asterisk and a red border to just make it easier for you to know which questions are mandatory. So this is basic function of section 1. We'll go to the section. So then there is section 2, which is also simple in a simple template. It has like few questions that you need to answer. It is straightforward and that you can answer, and there's some selection that you'll be able to use, select from one of the questions. Like, for example, please indicate how your country's revised or updated national biodiversity strategy and action plan has been adopted. Once you are done with the section 2, we go on to section 3. So the section 3 is the most complicated section of all the sections that we have. If you're done with section 3, I will say you're done with 90% of your national report. And you'll almost be ready to submit your national report. So the section 3 is the most time-consuming report, and it will depend on the number of national targets your country has submitted. So the section 3 is built on the number of national targets your country has submitted. So if your country has submitted 30 national targets, this system will populate all of your 30 national targets on section 3. If your country has submitted 50 national targets, then this system will populate all the 50 national targets for your country. It is important that through this section 3, we are making sure that countries report on all the global targets. So you report on all your national targets that are aligned with all the global targets. But in case, based on your country's situation, if your country doesn't have a national target for any of the GBF target, in that case, the system will also populate the global targets in order to make sure that countries have reported against all 23 GBF targets. So in my case here, I have 10 national targets that are aligned with the GBF targets, but not all of them are aligned with all the GBF targets. I'm missing alignment with 13 global targets here. So the system is making it clear for you the number of national targets that are loaded on the screen, plus the additional global targets that are loaded for your country in order to make sure that the assessment is done on all 23 national global targets. And also to make it easier for you while you're entering information, you will see next to each target, the system highlights if it's a national or if it's a global target. So this is my national target, and because I did not have any national target for this global target, the system has loaded the global target, and I will be doing the assessment for the global target. The template for each of these sections is same. There are 5 different questions that you will have to answer for each of the target. there are 5 mandatory questions, and there is a 6th question which is optional, which is where you describe the information based on the SDGs. All the text boxes are rich text editors, so you can make your text more visual and upload images or attachments like I showed you in the section 1. So once you're done with the entering information on the targets, the next thing that you have to do is upload indicator data. So here under each target, the system will also populate the indicator data information. So all the headline indicators that are linked with your national target and the binary indicator that are linked will be populated. And if you have selected any component, complementary or other national indicators, then all those 3 indicators will also be available for you, made available for you here on the screen, where you can upload indicator data. And since indicator data is one of the key thing that you will be doing, and also from the poll we noticed that people are having issues with uploading the data. We try to focus more on the uploading indicator data. So first thing to note is uploading indicator data for all the headline indicator and binary indicator is mandatory. You have to upload data for all 27 indicators and answer all the questions for all the binary indicators. And it's optional to upload data for component, complementary, and other national indicators. So how do you upload data for your indicators? So in my case, because I've already done the upload of data, here we see some information is already available, but I'll scroll to some. So I'll choose indicator 3.1. This is an indicator based on the protected areas. If you have not already submitted information, you will see add data. In my case, because the data already exists, I have edit data. So once I click edit data, I have 4 different options to answer based on the data. If the indicator is not relevant in your country situation, you can select not relevant and then provide information why this option, why the indicator is not relevant in your case. If there is no data available, you can choose that option and then also provide more information based on the situation of your country. But if you have indicator data, then you have 2 options. Use the available data set or use national data set. When you select use available data set, what happens is the system queries the target tracker database. It's a database that is being hosted by UNEP WCMC that is collecting all the information from various indicator custodians. So in my case, there is some data available for this particular indicator on the target tracker database. So the system loaded that information for me. So you'll see this information is all coming from the target tracker database. If you agree to this information, all you need to do is save draft, and then the system will populate this information for you for this particular indicator. When the information is being loaded from the target tracker information, the system also populates some information where that information is coming from. So in this case, this is coming from the UNEP WCMC Protect Planet, and the indicator providers were UNEP WCMC and IUCN. And then this additional description based on the information that was available from the target tracker database. But in case if there is no data available in the target tracker database, or if you want to update this information, you want to provide more recent information, more recent data, you can do that by selecting use national data set. When you select use national data set, you have the option to upload your own data. However, the system follows a strict template that you need to use. You can use that, download the template from this link. We have made it available. This will be available for each indicator. Once you click on this link, the system will download the file for you. So we pre-populate some information for you that is required. So the indicator code and then the indicator that is for which you are uploading the information, and then we pre-populate few years. So this is just a sample information, but you can choose to add more data if you like. If you have data for last 20 years, you can just enter those years that you have. We have just populated for the last 5 years, but it's up to you how many years of data your country has. You can upload it based on your situation. So we'll just add some data information. In our case, we'll choose not to have any disaggregation. There are questions about disaggregation. If this particular row has disaggregation, if there's disaggregation, then what is the disaggregation type?
¿Y
And
qué es
what is the disaggregation? These rows are
desagregación?
optional,
Entonces,
you
aquí
can
estos
choose
son
if they
opcionales, pueden
have
elegir.
disaggregation, or
I
you can
think
choose to.
all good.
So you can choose to ignore these columns if there is no disaggregation. Then you can focus on these 3 columns: year, unit, and value. These are mandatory columns. You have to provide some information in this column. So in our case, I'll just add some unit. And just for the demo purpose, I will skip the unit for this particular row, and then I will put some value in the value section. Now I save this section, and then I go back to the online reporting tool and I click on choose file and select the file that we just modified. So now you will see the system now highlights like data in 2 different rows. We provided the good values for all the rows that were populated in the valid data section. However, if you can recollect, like we missed adding unit to one of the row. So the system, because unit is a mandatory field and we did not provide information, the system is highlighting that the data failed the validation for that particular row. You have the option to go back to your Excel, modify it, update the unit, come back and upload it again, and save the information. If you choose not to do that, and if you just click on Save Draft, only this information that is under the valid data section will be considered and saved to the database. This row will be ignored. The system will not consider this while saving the information. So just as a demo, I will go back and then I will rectify my Excel, save, go back to the choose file, then select the file again. And then now all our data is passing the validation and all our data is good to be uploaded. So once we are good with the data, we can choose to provide some comments to complement the data if you have any, or you can click on Save Draft. So once we save draft, you will now notice that the system now has updated the screen with the new information that we just populated. The online reporting tool is very flexible. You can always edit save information and then come back and always edit it. So So you're not restricted. Once you upload data, it's not that you cannot edit that information. You can always edit that information even after you have published your national report. If you think there is some mistakes that you may have done, you can go back and modify the information and then publish the information again. The online reporting tool is very flexible in terms of edits. So like we have uploaded data for 3.1, you will continue uploading information for all the indicators. So like I said, it is mandatory to provide information for headline indicators and binary indicators, and then optionally you can provide information for component, complementary, and other indicators. Because the section 3 is very big, it might be a little cumbersome to work on data and the information at the same time. So what we have done is we have created an indicator data menu. Here, the system will load all the indicators that are linked with your country information. So this is all the information based on your national targets. So the system is loading 27 headline indicators on the screen, then all the 15 binary indicators. Then I had selected 4 component indicators in some of my national targets, then 5 complementary indicators, and I also had 9 other national indicators. So this menu only focuses on indicator data. So if you have data available, you can just come to this section, upload the data. And once you upload this data on this section, the system will automatically populate your section 3 with the data that you have entered on this section. And all the 4 indicators, headline indicator, component, complementary, and other national indicators, they use the same template. There is no difference between the template. The template that we just used to upload data for headline indicator 3.1, it's exactly the same. When you go to the other national indicators, you also have the option again to download the pre-filled template. And in this case, the system will download the template for your green list indicator. So once we download it, so here you see the indicator code. This is the code that is dynamically generated for your indicator, and this is the green list. This is the national indicator that we had created in our national targets. So it's exactly the same thing that you will have to do for your other indicators. So once you are done with, so in case of binary indicators, there are binary questions that you will have to answer for all the 15 binary indicators. All you need to do is edit response. The system loads the binary questions based on each binary indicator. Once you answer the information, you also have an option to complement the questions with some comments, and then click Save Draft. Again, once you update this information on this section, it will automatically carry forward all this information to the section 3. So one of the feedback that we have received from a lot of parties is the system was loading the national targets on section 3 in the order of the last updated date. So if you updated your national targets, that national target was always appearing at the top because it was picking up the last updated date. So countries wanted to sort those national targets in the order they want to. So just last week, we published a new feature to do that. It's the sort national targets. So in case if you want to sort, if you do not like the ordering of your national targets, you can click on sort national targets. This will open a pop-up, and it will list all the national targets in the order that already exists. Then you can choose to sort the order by titles in ascending order, Or if you want to do it in descending order, you can click again on the sort status button. But again, if you sort if you sort it in ascending order, but you still want some different kinds of sorting, you can do that by just moving your cursor on next to the target here. You'll see now my cursor has changed from a normal cursor to a drag and drop cursor. What you do is you click the indicate the target, and then you just move it to the place you want. So you can now do it. You can place the target indicator at whatever place you want to. This is a manual sorting that you can do by yourself. So you can do it however you wish to, and then the system will just retain the format, the sorting order that you have just selected. So this can be anything like you wish to. So once you do that sorting, all you need to do is apply. So now you'll see our sorting has been applied. The sorting that we just applied now has been applied. Make sure you click Save Draft so that the sorting also gets saved to the database. So next time when you come back, the sorting order is retained. If you do not save, the sorting order will be lost. So please make sure that you save draft after you apply the sorting your national targets. So then we go to this section 4, which deals with the global goals. So here on the section 4, the system lists all the 4 goals, and then you have to answer the one question for each of the goal, and then again you have to upload information for the headline indicators that are linked with the goal, and any binary indicator that is linked with the goal. If any of your national target is aligned also with the goal, then you'll probably answer the upload the data in section 3 for the headline indicators for that goal. So in that case, you will not be required to upload data again in the section 4. The system will automatically pre-populate that information that you have already done either in section 3 or indicator data section. So the idea is you're uploading the data only once, and then the system is taking care of populating it at all the places where that indicator appears. Then we have the section 4. It's a simple question, just one question that you need to respond to. We have added an other information section. So in case if you're done with all your information, but if you want to still complement some additional data that the template is not, that may not be available to provide in the template of any of the sections, then you can do that. You have the option to add additional files, or you can add some additional text that you want to complement. It can be an annex or anything that you wish to. This is an optional section. If you do not have additional information, you can just ignore it. So once we have done with filling in all the information, we can go to the overview section. On the overview section, the system will list all the sections, and the system will try to show you a bit of a progress, how much information you have been entering. This may not reflect the real progress, but it's just trying to give you an idea that how you're progressing. This overview section will also allow you to validate information altogether. So in case if you want to just verify which mandatory information you're missing on some of the sections, all you can do is click on validate, and then the system will validate all the 5 sections at once, and then let you know if there is any mandatory information that is missing. So in my case, there are 5 validations that are failed on section 3. I have a number of validations, and then it's high. So we'll have to now go to the section here, edit, and then if we review, 。 Section 3 takes a little bit more time because it's a lengthy section. So here we see we are missing some information for one of the national targets. If we click on it, the system will just scroll us to this section, which is missing that information. So once, and you will not be able to publish this information until all these sections have passed the validation. So you have to enter the mandatory information in order for you to publish your national report. Once you have validated everything, you can click publish. If you are a national authorized user, the request will be sent to your country's national focal point, who will review the information and then approve your request to publish that information. In case if you want,
Hey, Blaze, I'm
yeah,
just looking at some of the questions, and I think it would be valuable to go back over section 3. I see some of the comments just asking you to repeat how the national targets are displayed, and especially that collapsible yeah, and also the expand, and then to show how each of them can be edited. I think this is going to be valuable to make sure we don't miss too many people as we go through the rest of the presentation. Over.
And and then since you're jumping in, and then I think we want to make sure we have enough time. We have a lot of questions, Blaze. You're probably not seeing them because you are sharing your screen. But there is a lot of questions and not just on the section 3. So maybe let's focus on that now, and then we turn over to UNEP for the facilitation for the Q&A, if that works for you.
yeah, sure.
Awesome.
So by default, the system loads all your national targets in order of the last updated date. Because like I've said, like the section 3 is huge. We introduced this collapsible sections for each national target. You will see these sections are collapsible. So you can just click on the section that you want to work on, and then so it can be focused. You can be focused on one particular target, and not everything is open. You just need to click on the title of the national target. This will open the section for you. Once you answer this information, you can choose to close it and then open the next one as you go. The good thing about this section is, let's say, for example, you have opened target 17 last, and then you left your screen, for example, and then if you come back to section 3, the system will keep this section, or will make sure that the system remembers the last title that you were working last on, and it will make sure that to keep it open and keep other national other sections closed. So you can just go back to where you left last and continue your work on the same target that you were working last. If you want to see everything all together, instead of clicking target by target, we have this option called expand all. Once you do that, the system will open all the sections, and you'll see everything all together. But like you see, like my cursor has become huge, and then the screen is too big. So it's highly recommended that you do not open all the targets at once, unless you want to like just see it and then maybe close it. So if you want to close all the targets again, you please click on collapse all, and then the system will collapse all the sections again. Again, I will just go to the sort national target section to quickly repeat myself. By default, the system will show you all the targets in the same order that we just saw. You can sort the targets by ascending order by just clicking on the sort by titles, or descending order by clicking again on the sort by titles. If you do not think the sort order you want to modify a bit, you want like maybe this is more important target that needs to be on the top of the screen, you can just drag and drop the targets by your cursor, and then just click apply, and then the system will retain that sorting order. Please make sure you click save draft. Once you are click Save Draft, the system will remember your sorting order next time you're back on the screen. I'll just quickly go back to overview section. Just two points on overview section. If you want to see the whole national report all together, you can click on preview button, and then the preview button will give you a preview of all these 6 sections all at once here at one place. So you can just scroll through the sections. And if you want to generate a PDF of your whole national report, you can do so by clicking on the PDF button. Once you click the PDF button, this will generate the PDF of your full national report for you in case if you want to print it and get it approved by ministry or your department. You can do that. So I guess like that's it, and maybe I'll turn it back to Marian for questions.
Thank you, Blaise. That was very informative, and as I was mentioning, we have a lot of questions. So I think our colleague from UNEP are going to jump in to facilitate. I can say already, it might be not possible to take all of the questions, but I would really encourage everyone to continue sending them because we are actually keeping them on a document, and we'll make sure that all of them are addressed, either written or in another session where we can discuss more. So maybe over to you, and then keep your questions coming, please. Anthony.
Thanks, Marian, and thank you, Blaise, for guiding us through the online reporting tool for the 7th National Report. At this stage, we would like to invite the participants to ask as many questions as you can so that you can get all the clarifications from our colleagues, from our speakers and colleagues from the CBD Secretariat on the use of the online reporting tool for the 7th National Report. You can either raise your hand and I'll give you the floor to ask the question, or put the question in the chat and we will direct to our speakers. I may invite you to elaborate further any written question as needed. The floor is now open, although I see that some number of questions on the chat already, some of which have been responded by the CBD Secretariat colleagues. But the question are in different, we've categorized the questions based on whether they're related to the online reporting tool, whether they're related to the indicators and data requirement, or generally overall on the online reporting tool. I'll quickly go through the questions related to the online reporting tool so that Blaise and Ray can respond, and then go back to the indicators related question. So there's a question on, just to be sure, the previous table that Blaise shared comprises numbers. Each country has to introduce the targets in order to move to the next step. And Ray did respond to that question, noting that the tables indicate the number of submitted and published national targets and their alignment to the global targets. The adopted decision requests that each party to submit a response for each global target. The table is to help you highlight if there are any gaps. However, you can commence the submission of the national report even if they are missing reference to the global targets. That is, if you as a party do not have national targets that are linked to the global targets. There was a question from Grusami on when reporting on progress of the NBSAP against the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, that is section 3 and 4, is there a limit to the number of words? Let me put the questions together and then I give colleagues at the CBD to respond. The other question is, when uploading the national data set, can we use UN language, any other UN language? That was from Li Liu, and there was a response from Ray. Also, there was an additional question on that. All the data set should be uploaded in English, or can we use any other language? Again, I'll give the floor to our colleagues at the CBD Secretariat to respond to that question. There was a question from Ms. Ikira from Ethiopia. In the case of Ethiopia, we have developed 2 national targets for a single GBF target. Does this have a problem in reporting? And the quick answer was no, but we'll get further clarification again on that. There was a question on is the 7th national report for the period between 2019 to 2024? And the quick answer is you are able to specify the time frame in the reporting period that is in the national report. There's a question on what happens if a country has less than 23 targets and one of the targets is supposed to cover more than one global target, but may not do so fully. I understand some countries may have this situation. Would having one or more definite national target per global target be better when reporting for theoretic purposes? I don't know if I'm taking too many questions. Maybe I can give the floor to Blaise or Ray to respond to some of those, as I see many other questions coming in.
Yeah, I can answer one of the question about the language of the indicator data. So by default, the indicator data will use the same language that you have selected for your submission of your 7 national report. But if you wish to choose a different language, you do have an option. You can click, it's generally collapsed by default, just for in case of indicator data. But you can click on the general tab here. It will open the tab. You can select the language of for this particular record, and then you can select use national data set and upload your information like you want to. The only condition here is like when you download the table. I will open the Excel. The only condition that should be made sure that you do not change is these 2 codes that are pre-populated for you. This information needs to match the indicator code. So these 2 indicators should stay as it is, and then you can update the information in any language you wish to populate in your case. So that's optional up to you how you provide that information. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Ray. Do you want to take the other question on what happens if there are less than 23 targets and one target is supposed to overcome more than one global target? I think this is covered somehow in another question up there.
Yeah, so from a technical perspective, if your country has submitted only 20 national targets, just for an example, but is missing a national targets for the 3 alignment with 3 global targets, then the system will load all your 20 targets at the top, and then will load the 3 global targets for you in order for you to assess against that global target. Because eventually what's happening is you're eventually assessing against the global targets on all 23 global targets. So basically, the system will load the 3 missing global targets for you in order for the assessment.
Great. Thanks. And I see a few other questions have been asked and responded to in the chat. For instance, if I didn't publish a national target in part 1, the indicator data will show no result. Am I right? And of course, the response is yes. As the indicator data is required is linked to the national target published. Another question is, if a country has combined more than one global target, then how does the ORT respond to that scenario? There was a response from Ray from the CBD Secretariat that when a national target is linked to more than one global target, the headline indicator associated to the global target will be expressed in the national report and allow you to enter the data for these global targets when you complete your national target responses. There's a follow-up question, one more question. I'm facing an issue with part 2 of the global target mapping since the system refused saving the data. Is that because part 1 of the national target is still draft or not? And this question is quite common, and there's a response there from the CBD colleagues, Ray, that it's not necessary to publish all the targets before considering the global target mapping. Many parties draft both sections and then publish both parts 1 and 2 once everything is reviewed. Please write. You can always write to the address, that is the CBD MEA-CBD-monitoring support@un.org. That email address is on the chat. There's a question around what is the exact reason for sorting of national targets. That was by Missy Kire. And another question, what does it mean by failed validation in section 3? That is by Dalal. Do you want to respond to that question around failed validation?
Yeah, sure. So when you upload the indicator data, we are just making sure that the parties upload these 3 values: the year, unit, and the value. If you are not adding any of these 3 values, then the indicator data is not complete, because these are the 3 attributes that are the most important that will be used for the assessment. In order to make sure that there is complete data, we are making sure that we are making these 3 columns mandatory. So in case if you missed any information, like for example, you by mistake may skip entering units or a value in this case, then the system will highlight saying like the validation failed. You have to make sure that that particular row is fixed before that information can be saved to the database. So you can go back to your Excel, modify the information that is missing, save it, and re-upload it to the system in order for it to pass the validation. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. There's another question, and I think this is relevant to a number of countries. There's some data that we would like to share in the report, but the format is different from the one required. I would like to know if we must convert it to the format required by the template. Could we not upload it so that the CBD Secretariat can find a way to harmonize it? I think this is quite relevant to many countries. So, Ray, do you want to respond, or someone from the CBD Secretariat?
I think
Or if we can.
Blake and Ray got confused. Anthony, maybe let me just also jump in here and hi all. And I think we're just overwhelmed by the number of questions that are coming through in the chat. If I just take a moment to, and I know that we are trying to keep time. My observations are that the questions are grouped, or let me propose that the questions are grouped into 2 main groups. One where there's a lot of questions on how the targets link to the global targets and therefore then represented in the national report. There are questions on whether there can be more than one national target expressed towards a global target. Maybe there's actually only one national target that links to a number of global targets. And maybe, Blaise, as I described this, you want to go back to the online reporting tool to show the national target section where we can allow, well, the template does allow for this ability so that one national target can align to many of the global targets. And I also see a question in there about what is the preference and what would our advice be, right? And I think that this is really where parties we've seen that both expressions that they do create one national target that might link to many global targets because that is the way that their ministries and their consultations are happening. And it could also be that it is the other way that there are many national targets that actually fulfill the ambition of one global target. And then related to this is as you populate this template, and Blaise, if you can scroll a bit further down, then the expression of the linked headline indicators are then pre-populated in this template here. And as Blaise was selecting the different global targets, then this list is populated even more with the national targets and the indicators and the headline indicators which are linked, also the binary indicators there. And then we see in the chat there's a lot of questions on where do we represent our national indicators. And there's a section right down the bottom here which allows you to fill in national indicators that you might want to use. This has to be done at the time of the national target expression or the submission, and then they would be carried forward into the the national report, right? So they need to be expressed here before you can then actually report on that in the national reporting part of um, the, the online reporting tool. So I probably want to pause at this point just and move on to the second area that we see expressed a lot, which is then around the template and around data and around disaggregations and the use of how templates, how the reporting against this data is happening. So maybe, Blaise, if you quit out of this screen and go into the national reports. And firstly, in the My Country, you'll see that the first menu item that we have there is the indicator data. This is meant to be the collection of all the data reporting that may be expressed through all the national targets that you've submitted that comprise your national report. This means that there's a grouping of all the headline indicators, all the binary indicators as represented by the different tabs that you see on the top, including also the other national indicators, which is the last menu that you see on the top level menus there. So if you have in your national targets defined national indicators to be used, then this is the place where you can submit the data that reports on this. I do see that there are some questions around proxy data. What if the data around the headline indicators is not available? Then you would also express that as possibly a national substitute. And then that would also then be, and if you click on the other national data tab place, then this is where you would be able to submit the proxy data or the data that I mean, all the examples here say the green national list, and this is obviously not, it doesn't make sense. This is us training and providing this test data for this measure. And then when you go into the national or the data, then there are questions around the disaggregations that we do see and about the available data. So in the use available data drop-down or checkbox that you see here, this is relying on global data that is already provided to us. And not all of this is actually available right now because the data providers are still actually coming up with this. So where it is available, and when you do see that checkbox, then and it does pre-populate, and there's definitely ones I do see in the chats about D1 on some of the economic data as well as the red list data that is there available from global sources, then this would be available for you as pre-populated data. And then what we normally get in this as well is questions, well, what if I want to use this as the basis for our data? But then we actually see some values here which we don't necessarily agree with, or we feel that we have more up-to-date values there. You're able to download or use this as the basis of your data, but then you would actually be submitting your own version of this by using the use national data. Your data And what you're submitting actually overrides what would be the pre-populated data that is there. So then as you click on the use national data, then it does allow you with a template to then complete that template and upload to us with that data that you might have available. I do see in the comments there, and I won't address them immediately, but we will take time to review all those, that there could be some indicators or some units on some of the globally provided data which are missing. We will just review that with the global data provider, and we'll address those as we go along. So maybe Anthony, I
Yeah.
also know that I think we have more questions than what we can answer now. I think what we should do is agree how we provide the participants of this webinar the answers to all of them. But I think hopefully with these summary of observations that we've seen, firstly around the national target submission and then the data submission concerning the national reporting, this helps to explain in this webinar how parties might be able to go forward with this. Back to you, Anthony.
Thank you, Ray. That's really good. Just wondering if there's giving an opportunity for anyone who wants to clarify or ask their questions. I had seen a hand up, and I think it's been dropped. But if you still have that burning question that we should address today, please do raise. I cannot see any hands yet.
I think Ahab raised the hand again.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, go ahead. Aid, please go ahead. Unmute yourself and
Yes, thank you so much. Well, my question is basically about section number 3. And just to let you know what is appearing at my screen now, when I go to section number 3, I have this pink colored message saying missing national targets. And this is basically because I have included the national target, but it's still in a draft version. We didn't publish it yet. So the question which is related to, if I will go to this page, which include part 2, national targets, part 1, I'm sorry, national target, and part 2, global target mapping. So I should complete the 2 in order to publish them together. I cannot publish the national target alone. So just to clarify, because I have received an answer before saying that I can publish part 1 national target, and it's not necessarily to have this published to go to the other sections. Just to clarify this, if I may.
Yeah, it is not mandatory to upload information in part 2. You can just provide information in part 1 and then publish that information. And then you can later update the part 2. It is recommended to add data to part 2, but it's not mandatory.
So if I click on publish part 1 and part 2, it will simply take part 1 and publish it.
Yes.
Okay.
It will give you a warning that you are missing part 2, but you can still continue to skip go ahead and publish part 1.
Understood. Thank you so much.
You're on mute, Anthony.
thank you so much, Aid. And for most of the other questions, I think we'll package them in the frequently asked questions and respond them as and when and respond to them and make sure that you all have access to the responses maybe on the CBD website. But I don't know if there's any other burning question before we wrap up this session for the Q&A. I think we want to make it more interactive, so please do raise your hand and we'll give you the floor. If there are anyone who is having a burning question. If not, then I will pass over to my colleague, Marion. Thank you so much for your interaction. We have received so many questions, some still unanswered. We will organize how we will get feedback to you. We've taken your details. Also, we'll see whether we can organize another webinar to dedicated on the questions that have been asked by the participants. So thanks for an engaged session. Please, over to you, Marion.
Thank you, Anthony, and thank you, colleagues. I see so many comments and questions coming into the chat, and this is exactly why we had the session today. We were hoping to have it as interactive as possible. Again, we were coordinating with colleagues in the back during this session, and considering the amount of questions, we are suggesting two things. The first one is that we will consolidate all of the questions that you have sent us and the answer that you have received for those that have been answered into an FAQ document, right? Maybe we'll sort out the questions and answer by category that that Ray was mentioning, whether it is simply on the number of users that can access the tool, work on the tool, or indicator, or aggregation, disaggregation of data, etc. So this will be shared at the same time that we share the presentation and the recording in the languages. And in addition, it is very likely that we would organize a webinar just for Q&A. So in addition to the FAQ that we will circulate in the coming days, having probably a webinar early next year for just exchange. So probably no demo or anything of the tool. We would be ready to share our screen for the tool, but mostly focusing on Q&A. So if that sounds like a good idea, and I see a lot of approval through the chat, then I think we will do this. In the meantime, we want to be respectful of your time, and therefore we're going to close this session. Before we do so, I'd like to also thank the GEF for providing funding and support to the governments, and then our partners, obviously, CBD, the UNEP, my colleagues at UNDP for the collaboration and making this webinar possible. A big thank you to you participants for your continued feedback and questions to keep us on our toes, and then and making sure that we respect this deadline of February next year. Again, beyond this session today, do not hesitate to reach out to us if you have specific questions. I've seen some specifically for a few countries in the chat. So do not hesitate to reach out to either colleagues at UNEP, at UNDP, or CBD directly, and we'll do everything we can to support you. Again, as a reminder, all of the webinar recordings, so not just this one, but also the previous one on the online reporting tool, can be accessed through the webinar webpage, which I believe my colleagues are dropping now in the chat. Finally, just at the end of this session, you receive a very quick survey. It's going to take about 1 minute of your time to give some feedback on the session today so that we can shape the next sessions even better. So with this, thank you very much to all the organizer and all of the participants. We look forward to continuing working with you and helping you, preparing the 7th National Report and making sure that you can submit them by the deadline. In the meantime, I wish you a good day, a good evening, a good night for some of you, and we will be in touch very soon. Thank you so much.